Hello, my happy readers. It's Bedtime Stories with me, Issy. Are you ready to share a new story? Well, I have chosen a super adventurous story to share. The title is Luniant Adventures. If you have this book at home, you can read along with me. The author, the person who has written this story, is Amanda L. Moore, and the illustrator, the person who has created all the drawings, is Olivia S. Harris. Now we're going to meet Luniant, who is a tiny ant, but with big dreams. And he has the most exciting adventures with all his friends. Luniant is going to introduce himself. He's going to tell you all about how and why his adventures started. And then we're going to join him on his first adventure, Journey to the Moon. Shall we read and find out what happens? Luniant, the tiny ant blogger. Hi there, friends. I'm Luniant, a tiny ant with big dreams. Want to know how I became the smallest blogger in the world? Then listen up. In my world, the grass is super tall, like skyscrapers, and pebbles are huge, like boulders. Even raindrops feel like a flood to me, but I never get scared, especially when I'm with my best buddy, Doodoo. You see, Doodoo is no ordinary bug. He is a little green beetle who's always excited and happy. He runs around really fast and makes funny squeaking noises that make everyone laugh. One day, Doodoo said, "Hey, Loony, let's go explore that big clover field." I love adventures, so of course I said yes. We ran as fast as we could, excited to see what we would find. Suddenly, we saw something big and shiny, big like a mountain. Can you guess what it was? A phone that someone dropped. Doodoo, curious as a kitten, started poking at this thing with his long nose. And then, boom! The phone turned on. We saw funny videos of people dancing and telling stories. We laughed so hard we almost fell off the leaf. That's when I had a great idea. If people can share stories and make others smile, why can't I try to? So I decided to become a blogger and tell everyone about our little adventures, secrets, and wonders of nature. I may be just a small ant, but I have big plans. I want to show you how amazing our world is when you look at it through a bug's eyes. Are you ready to go on an awesome journey through the world of insects with me? Trapped in a world of reflections. Hey there, it's me, Luniant, your ant buddy. Guess what? I had the coolest adventure ever this morning. I woke up and saw something amazing. A big leaf covered in tiny water drops. They looked like shiny diamonds on the grass. I just had to get a closer look. But when I got near, something weird happened. Suddenly, I was in a maze made of mirrors. Everywhere I looked, I saw myself. It was like being in a mirror world where everything looked funny and strange. But I couldn't find my way out. I thought, if I can't find my way, I'll make one. So I started drinking the water drops. I drank and drank, hoping it would help me escape. Just when I thought I'd be stuck forever, my friends came to save me. The Strict Sisters, who are super cool dragonflies, saw me with their sharp eyes. They flew around, their wings sparkling in the sun like little lights. With their help, I finally got out. Back in the meadow, all my friends were waiting for me. There was Picky the spider, always ready to help. Sloey the snail, who asks a lot of questions. And Doodoo, who's always in a good mood. They were so glad to see me. We all hugged and laughed together. It wasn't just a story about my adventure anymore. It was about how awesome our friendship is. Our friendship is stronger than any mirror maze. Wasn't that fun? I can't wait to tell you about my next adventure. The Flying Ant. Hey adventurers, it's Luniant here with a super fun story. One sunny day in the forest, my friend Picky the spider and I came up with a funny idea. We wanted to play a silly trick on our frog friends by the lake. Picky made a bunch of webs over the water. It looked like a cool path in the air. As the sun was going down, I took a big breath and jumped onto the first web. I moved my little legs fast and flew through the air like a tiny circus performer. The wind felt so cool as I jumped from web to web. It was such a great time. Down below, the frogs were making funny sounds. They were so surprised to see me flying above them. I was having so much fun, feeling like I could touch the sky. Each jump was a fun trip. I felt like I was flying like a bird. When I finished, I landed softly on the leaf, breathing hard and happy. Picky came over, looking very proud. "Wow, Luniant," he said. "You're like a spider and an ant all in one." We had such an amazing adventure together. It was a day we'll never forget. So remember, kids, be brave and try new things. You can do awesome stuff, just like a little ant with big dreams. Luniant, Journey to the Moon. Chapter 1, The Curious Ant. Let me tell you a secret. I wasn't always the adventurous ant you know today. Once I was just plain young Luniant, living in the Black Meadow with lots of other ants. I did my job, asked lots of questions, but wasn't anything special. Then came the night that turned my whole world upside down. If I had known what was coming, I might have run home and hidden under a leaf. But now I'm so happy I didn't. So, one moonlit night, I just couldn't fall asleep. My body was tired, but my mind kept buzzing with curiosity about the huge, huge world around me. I crept out of my cosy anthill for a nighttime stroll across the meadow. A refreshing chill filled the air, and the grass whispered secrets in the gentle breeze. As I walked along, I gazed up at the bright full moon, casting its soft silver light. That's when I saw it. Tiny lights twinkling and dancing around the moon. At first, I thought they were miniature stars that had fallen from the sky. But stars don't flit around like that. Please remember this magical moment, for it was the beginning of all my most fantastic adventures. What are those tiny flying stars around the moon? I wondered aloud. At that precise instant, a beetle scurried by on his nightly patrol. His shell gleamed like a jewel, and he overheard my puzzled question. The beetle puffed out its chest importantly and declared smugly, "Those are moon ants, my young friend." Moon ants? I tried to understand what the beetle meant. Ants living on the moon? The beetle grinned at my confused face. "Indeed, those twinkling specks are communities of ants, just like you, but they live up there among the moon's craters. Amazing, isn't it?" Raising his huge beetle horn as if to emphasize his words, he said with a grin, "Of course, you need to fly to the moon to meet them." And with that mysterious remark, he hurried on his way, leaving me completely amazed. All night long, I tossed and turned, thinking about the beetle's strange words. Moon ants? How is it possible that my cousins inhabited that glowing orb in the sky? The idea was so ridiculous, and yet I found I couldn't quite shake it off. A burning seed of hope smouldered within me. Oh, how I wished to meet these amazing moon ants and become their friend. Maybe they could even teach me to fly and glow with a mystical light in the moonlight like they do. Chapter 2. A Dream Takes Flight. As the first golden rays of dawn spilled across the meadow, I made my decision. I was determined to journey to the moon, no matter what it took. Quickly exiting my anthill, I rushed to rouse my dearest friends to share my grand scheme. "Gather round, my friends, I have the most exciting, unbelievable news," I announced, my voice squeaky with delight. I recounted the beetle's fantastic tale of ant cities living on the moon's surface word for word. And he says the only way to meet them is to fly there ourselves. So, who's with me? Let's build a spaceship and become the first ants to visit our lunar pals. My friends stared at me in shocked silence. I realized how unexpected my words were. Finally, the grasshopper Springleap spoke up. build a spaceship, fly to the moon? But Luniant, that seems, well, impossible. A murmur of disbelief rippled through the gathered bugs. A spaceship? 4 ants? The very idea seemed absurd to them. To everyone except Picky, the tiny fluffy spider, my faithful childhood friend. We often played together, performing various fun tricks with his web. I knew Picky had my back. I think it's a brilliant idea, he chirped loyally. If anyone can get us to the moon, it's you, Luniant. But goodness, where would we even begin building a rocket? I was so grateful for Picky's belief in me, but honestly, I knew nothing about rocket science. Suddenly, a familiar voice piped up, making everyone freeze. It was Doodlebug, the young beetle who loved to learn and share his knowledge, even when no one really wanted to hear it. Doodlebug was the kind of bug who could make even the most exciting facts sound as boring as watching grass grow. As soon as the other bugs saw Doodlebug coming, they'd quickly find a reason to be somewhere else. They knew that once he started talking, they might fall asleep before he finished. But Doodlebug never seemed to notice. He just adjust his big, thick glasses and keep right on talking endlessly. Tell me, am I the only one who knows about books containing knowledge? Allows you to create anything, even spaceships. He glanced at me sideways, and a glimmer of amusement flashed in his intelligent eyes behind those glasses. Chapter 3. The Library Quest. I immediately knew where I needed to go first. The library, of course. They must have blueprints on how to build a rocket ship. Let's all go to the library. And so began the most wonderful and unpredictable adventure in an ant's life. My friends and I ran as fast as we could to the giant tree of knowledge. A wonderful library was inside its huge trunk. My heart raced with excitement, but I felt a little scared too. Could musty old books really contain the secrets of spacecraft construction? Just one way to discover. We climbed up the branches and began scouring the tall bookshelves. My friends fanned out, carefully examining each weathered book's spine. I scrambled up to the topmost shelves, straining to pull down the heaviest volumes. Moon ants, spaceships, cosmic travel. I muttered the key words like a mantra, rapidly flipping through crackling pages. Finally, Springleaf exclaimed, "Here, I think I found something." He extracted a massive tome titled Spacecraft Design for Beginners. My friends and I huddled around as he carefully turned the delicate pages and finally stopped at a diagram. Look, it shows how to build a basic rocket using materials we can actually find. We can use a pencil as the main body A spool of thread as the engine nozzle, and matches as the fuel source. My eyes widened with hope. This could work. We cheered and danced a victory jig right there in the library. However, a troubling thought dampened my enthusiasm. Wait, it provides instructions on building a rocket, but not how to launch it. How will we ignite the fuel? We all got quiet when we realized this big problem. My hopes of flying in space now felt even farther away than the moon. However, at that instant, little Doodoo voiced his thoughts.
Oh, if only I could know everything, I'd be happy to help you, Luniant.
He exclaimed. Know everything. These words pierced me from head to toe, giving me a ray of hope. Of course, the wise elder, a praying mantis who has lived through countless sunrises and sunsets, knows everything. During tough times, our tribe's leaders sought his counsel. He will undoubtedly help. Chapter 4. The Journey to the Elder. Reaching the wise elder is a challenging path. Doodoo volunteered to accompany me on the journey, and Piggy said he would help build a boat from a fern leaf. Piggy did not keep us waiting, and soon a perfect, robust leaf was in our possession. Doodoo and I quickly made a boat. We found sturdy sticks, and Piggy tied them together to make the boat stronger. When everything was ready, we carefully lowered the boat into the water. The leaf gently rocked on the waves. Doodoo and I jumped inside, and our journey began. I skillfully steered the boat, avoiding obstacles. Doodoo sat at the front, pointing the way. But then, at a sharp turn, our eyes widened in horror. Right in front of us appeared a giant waterfall. The water thundered down in a monstrous stream with a deafening roar.
Hold on tight, Luniant!
Doodoo screamed frantically. Our fragile little boat rushed rapidly towards the very edge. My heart was pounding wildly, and my stomach lurched with all-consuming fear. Time froze, and we hovered over the abyss. And then a sharp jerk, and we plunged into a dizzying free fall. Everything blended into a kaleidoscope of spray, steam, and the noise of the waterfall. We tumbled through the air, but instead of terror, exhilarating excitement filled me. My life's most extreme ride. Chapter 5. The Mystical Forest. And then magic happened. Instead of crashing onto the rocks, our boat got caught by a powerful air current. The leaf spun, and we began to rise higher and higher as if on wings. A soft, rosy glow filled the misty air, and dazzling sunbeams danced in my eyes. In an instant, we found ourselves right in the magical, mystical forest. All around us, unusual flowers grew. Huge butterflies fluttered, and wondrous scents drifted on the breeze. It was amazing. Our ship landed very softly on fluffy moss. This place's beauty left me in awe. We wandered through the forest for quite a long time, admiring its wonders. It seemed as if every little tree and every bush held its own secrets. It was an unforgettable adventure, like something out of a fairy tale. Doodoo remained to guard the boat, while I set off in search of the wise elder's dwelling. Walking along winding paths, I couldn't stop marvelling at the wonderful and mysterious world unfolding before my eyes. Now bright colours flashed. Now pitch darkness engulfed me. Everywhere I listened, I heard weird sounds that were almost like music. Bright flashes of light flickered, and the air carried sweet, sleepy scent. I walked for a long time through the strange forest. Then, out of nowhere, I saw a small house behind a bush. It appeared through the fog. I knew right away this was the wise elder's home. My heart beat faster as I got excited about meeting him soon. As I entered the hut, amazement filled me. Many jars and vials filled with colourful liquids surrounded me. Some of them bubbled and made various sounds, while others emitted steam. On the stove stood a large cauldron in which some potion was being prepared. I searched the entire dwelling, but couldn't find the wise elder. The question about launching the rocket didn't leave me, but there was no one to ask. Finally, exhausted from the long journey and search, falling from fatigue, I dozed off. My head filled with new images, sounds and smells spun and carried me into a whirlpool of dreams. Chapter 6. The Elder's Wisdom. Suddenly, among the haze of unreal images, the shape of the wise elder clearly appeared to me. He stood before me in a huge hook-shaped hat with a staff in his hand. His eyes held all worldly wisdom. I tried to ask my burning question, but the wise elder spoke first. It seemed he knew all my doubts and worries.
You're looking for something you can't see,
the wise elder said in a magical voice.
This special power can push your rocket to space. You won't find it easily, but it's all around us all the time. All you need to do is gather this force at one point. Focused, it will amplify itself and make the impossible possible. You've already done something like this. You had the great power of wishing, and your friends came together to help make your dreams come true. You need to use a magnifying glass to gather 1,000,000 rays of light at one point and see what happens. Chapter 7. From Dream to Reality.
Upon waking, I glanced around. Still no sight of the wise elder. But his wonderful dream stayed with me, giving me hope. Millions of sun rays coming together to make the rocket fly. That was the answer. I hurried home to get to work as soon as possible. We made the decision to construct the spaceship as per the blueprint and use solar rays collected by a lens to ignite the rocket engine. My mates and I scattered in all directions, hunting everywhere for all essential parts. Picky came back first, holding a small piece of a pencil. He had found it in the forest, where a forgetful writer of children's books had left it behind. Picky carefully carried the pencil down to the ground using his best spider silk thread, feeling very proud of himself. Next came Doodoo himself, rolling a spool of thread. He had to roll the spool all the way across the meadow, and he did it in a funny way, pushing it with his hind legs. The Streak sisters, fearless dragonfly twins, arrived with a ready supply of matches. And finally, the snail Sloey appeared with a shiny sun lens affixed to the roof of his golden castle on his back. It was like magic that he delivered the lens so quickly. Thank you, Sloey. Chapter 8. The quest begins. Now we had everything we needed. When I looked at the whole set of rocket parts, I was happy and scared at the same time. Could we really transform these simple objects into a spaceship capable of reaching the moon? My friends looked at me, their boundless trust restoring my wavering resolve. If anyone could pull off this cosmic quest, it was us. And so our company worked hard under the scorching sun, day and night, following the book's diagrams exactly. We tied the pencil and spool together with the strongest spider's silk. Friends created a cozy cabin for me to pilot the ship in. Finally, a ring of matches surrounded the rocket's body, ready to launch the space journey. And there it was. Our homemade spaceship was ready. I stepped back to admire our creation, and pride swelled in my chest. A roar of thunderous applause erupted among all the gathered meadow creatures who had been watching our progress with awe and amazement. As the sun rose high overhead, I climbed into the snug cabin and strapped myself in tight. My legs were shaking a little bit because I was both scared and excited. This was it, our one shot at the moon. Okay, Doodoo, get everything ready, I called out excitedly. My friend quickly moved into place and pointed the shiny lens at the end of the string. I crossed my whiskers, hoping it would work. At first, nothing happened. Had we missed some crucial steps? Just as I was beginning to lose hope, a beam of blazing light flared into life. In an instant, a tiny flame raced along the unravelled thread like a fuse, straight to the waiting ship. The focused sunlight had done its job. It's working! It's working! My friends cheered loudly. I held on tight as the matches started to burn. The rocket shook and rumbled, getting ready to fly. Chapter 9. Blast off. And then, whoosh! With a tremendous roar, bright orange flames erupted from the engines, carrying the spaceship skyward like a fiery comet. Instantly, the G-force pressed me back into my seat, taking my breath away. As the meadow below shrank to a tiny green speck, I chanced a glance out the curved window. There it was, in all its glory. The moon, my destination, gleaming just beyond the darkness of space. My heart soared even higher than the rocket ship itself. Adventures and wonders never before seen by antkind awaited. Hold on tight, friends. The journey to the moon ants is just beginning, I shouted over the roar of the engines. This marks the start of a life-altering odyssey. To be continued. What an amazing little ant Luniant is. He most certainly does have big dreams, but he's also adventurous and curious. I like the way he is going to show us our beautiful world around us, but from an ant's perspective. How interesting is that going to be? And this story that we've only just started, Journey to the Moon, is to be continued. So do look out for the next reading. I hope you've enjoyed this Shed Time story. And if you want to, you can like, share, follow and subscribe to Shed Time Stories. Then you'll be ready for the next book we can share together. Bye-bye.